All right, y'all. We got what 5 minutes to talk about 10 signs you might be an entitled woman. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to open up by asking this question, ladies. Brandy with a B, Crystal Clear, Desiree. Are women entitled? Are African American women entitled? Y'all, I'm asking other women. So if you got a problem with what I'm about to say, I'm asking these women.
That's good. I think sometimes there is a bit of confusion with the word entitled and having standards. I do think that some black women have standards, and I do think that some are entitled. So I think there's a split there. And some people have standards that may be a little too high for where and who they are.
Ooh.
So I'll say that.
That's literally what I was about to say.
Go ahead, Korea. What you talking about?
That's literally what the ending of what she said was what I was about to say. I can't say all black women are entitled.
Right.
That's not
true.
Statement.
That's not
I
accurate.
can't say that. But I can say I have encountered black women who seem to be entitled. You know, you don't have certain things that you require from people. You don't act a certain way. You aren't pleasant, you know. So let me not say we, because I'm a black woman. So, you know, I'm not going to say all black women are entitled, but I have encountered that. And I think that is what we see a lot of in this culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll say that, but yeah.
Brandy, talk to me.
I think that we have become extremely entitled. We are the most educated demographic in the United States right now. Social media, we have this air about us as black women as a whole. So I think we've reversed expectation with entitlement. We expect certain things and we feel like we're entitled to certain things, but what are we willing to give back in return, specifically to the men that we're asking so many things from?
That's super cool.
That's good.
That's so dope. Let me ask you all this question. Do you all think you have been conditioned by society to expect more from a man and give less? Meaning, I'll give you an example. Do you all think that you've been taught to present, this is who I am, but you have to be much greater for me to even consider being with you? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yes,
that makes
yes.
sense.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So a lot of women, I think a lot of women, now let me give you some context. I was raised by a mother and a father in the same house.
Yeah.
All right. And I have a younger sister. I have an older brother, but he was not raised in our house. So I know how fathers interact and what they say to daughters. Okay. Sometimes, y'all, just by and large, or just generally speaking, and I think it's powerful. I think it's extremely necessary to tell a young lady who she is, right? But you have to, and I think my dad did a great job at this, right? You have to equally push her to be, what are you going to bring to the table?
Yeah. That's good.
All right. I think society allows women to, this is not everybody, but I think society, African American culture shapes, because if you start off talking like, and I'm gonna be brief on this, 30 seconds. If we grow up hearing that men ain't S,
Right.
okay, how often do we hear, well, women ain't S? Because just as much as men do ain't S stuff, women do ain't S stuff.
Absolutely.
But if a woman is never called out for the ain't S stuff she does, but she's always taught that men do ain't S stuff, then you will become entitled, thinking that, oh, how I am, my pouting, my being emotional, my being loud and obnoxious and over talking, I can talk to you in a type of way. Oh, that's cool. Except that it's you that has to get it together. Watch this for me.
Yeah.
I'm asking, do you think that is a normal pattern in society, in our African American culture, or do you think it's just men just coming up, just making this stuff up?
Oh no, that's a pattern for sure. I think that, and it has been normalized. I think more now that we have social media, people are more vocal. Black women are more vocal about what they won't do, what they can't do, what they won't accept, you know, versus what you said, saying, no, it's both sides, you know? So it has been normalized.
Chris, let me give you this one. and y'all tell me if y'all agree with this or not. You can super disagree. I think a woman can live with her mother and father until she's 50 years old, and nobody will question if she's responsible.
That's the truth.
That's so
That
true.
is true.
That's so true.
Okay.
A man cannot do that.
Yeah.
A man can't do that.
Oh, no.
All right, so watch this. Just common sense takes over when everything else fails. If a woman is allowed, I'm talking about a black woman.
Yeah.
If a woman is allowed to stay with her parents until she's 50, and no one will ever question if she's irresponsible, accountable, if she is if she has great work ethic, she can stay with her mom, stay with her dad until she's 50 years old. But a man, specifically a black man, is not allowed to do that. Then it would almost be normal to say, well, you got to have a house,
Yeah.
but I don't have to have one.
Yeah.
That's very true.
That didn't make sense,
No,
y'all.
that made a lot of sense.
So get this. I think what happens is, we're not realizing that there are certain societal or cultural norms that we live by. But out of those cultural norms, we've also normalized demanding that men have things. So I'm gonna be honest with you. A woman could not have a car and nobody would say anything.
Nobody would say.
A woman could not have a house and not
This
say
is facts
anything.
now.
But she could also say, do you have a car?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it would be abnormal
And it would be
if you say no.
Yep.
And it would be abnormal
Yep.
if he says no.
Yep.
So I think that's the thing that creates you can have all of these demands, but not really meet the demands that you're demanding.
Yeah.
Does it make sense, y'all?
Yeah,
What
that
y'all think
makes
about
sense.
that?
No, that's so good, because it's like we aren't okay with saying you don't have a car, why not? Like if you don't have a car, oh, I'm done. I don't want
Yeah.
to talk to you. But this person can be, the job may require him not to have this, or it's just I truly believe that what you're saying is true. And I think as women, we don't take a lot of accountability when it comes to saying this is how we are, and it's how we've been groomed to be, not just maybe family, but television. I mean, everything since we've been children,
Yeah.
this is what a man is supposed to do, provide A, B, and C. And we just come with our beauty or our, we do this,
Absolutely.
I can cook, clean, but nothing else,
And by the way,
even
that's changed now.
changed, yeah.
Women are not saying I'll cook and clean. As a matter of fact, the mere suggestion of cooking and cleaning and taking care of the house is misogynistic.
Yeah.
Don't you want to clean your house?
Yep. Now it's like, I'm a woman, I don't want to clean like
What?
you should.
No gender
So,
assigned.
Yeah, right. That's crazy to me, right? Yeah. Now you gotta understand. I grew up with baby boomers, so I'm going to take more of a traditional route. However, I don't think a woman is supposed to clean. I think we're supposed to clean.
Yeah.
But I think we do need, because I'm a leader and I understand assigning roles. I think everybody in the house needs a role.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good.
That is good.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so nevertheless, I think that these are some of the things that's created some level of entitlement. I'll never forget, I saw this video where this girl was living in an apartment and she said, I don't deal with dude that lives in apartments. He said, where you live? And she was like, over here. He was like,
In an apartment.
you live in this apartment. Because he tried to talk to her. He walked up there like, hey, little mom, A, B, C, and D. And so she was talking. She was like, I don't deal with dudes that don't have this type of car and that lives in apartments. He was like, hold on. Where you live? I mean, he was really like saying, but where do you live? And so he was like, I'm living. And she said, with my mama. And he said, is you stupid?
Yeah, like how you? Yeah, that's an apartment
and with your mama?
So it's the conditioning of the mind to say that the man. So let's go further. Where did you all get this that men have to make six figures and you all can make just kind of like whatever?
Yeah. And that is also unrealistic too, because the average person isn't making that type of money, and you won't come across a person that's making that type of money if you also don't make that type of money. It's all about environment, and I always find it hard to believe when people say they need a six-figure man. Well, you might be single for a long time.
Yeah, because the average salary in America for a man is $54,000.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No. I take that back. The average salary, the last time I looked it up, for a man in America, is 48 or 46.
Yeah, and for a woman, it was
And
like
for a woman,
36.
it's like 36 to 42, something like that. So the average salary. So to demand six figures that's got to be some black
I don't know
drug
where people got
dealing,
that from.
entrepreneurship line type thing, because the average, meaning the average person that you're meeting on a day-to-day basis, who is a contributing a citizen to society, is only making up to about 50. So anybody after 50, that's like, okay, you're doing very well. So to demand to demand from the average 6 figures, where did that come from?
Yeah,
Is that a social media thing, y'all?
I don't, because the number, like, I've heard a man has to have this and that, but the 6 figures, I think that may be a social media thing that started, because I've never heard exact
And it's probably
numbers,
started
like,
from entrepreneurs.
or something like that, because 6 figures. I mean, I don't think we started hearing that number until
Oh, absolutely. We didn't grow up hearing 6 figures.
So I think it's a social media, something that started from social media.
Now, if you make 6 figures, go for it.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think, especially in Atlanta, it's the data says that to live comfortably in Atlanta, an individual, not a man. By the way, y'all,
Come on
let me
now.
just say this. Before you make statements and jump on bandwagons, go and look at what the study and the research says. There's no research that suggests that a man should make a certain amount of money. It is what a person should make.
Hello.
Yeah, a person.
A person.
Yeah.
So a person should make, to live in Atlanta comfortably, $100,000.
That's
A person. So now I have to say, all right, if you are making 35, 50,000,
Yeah.
and you're demanding that a man makes 100,000, I have to assume you're trying to live off of him.
Come on.
Because the truth of the matter is, we both should be making that to live comfortably.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is too. Women are wanting to be taken care of. I don't ever hear
Absolutely.
you want to be the stay-at-home mom, the stay-at-home wife, but you're not bringing anything in addition to his 6 figures. You're not adding anything to it.
And I think
genius.
that's where the 50-50 conversation has been coming in. Like, that's where they're getting it from. And I think, a big role is entertainment as well, because even when I think about the music, like Saweetie, the 6-figure in, it's like that was publicized a lot. We heard it a lot in the public. Then you see the City Girls. It was just a lot about men making a certain amount, and I think that kind of shaped the minds of people.
Yeah.
Des, let's talk about this. Let's talk about 10 signs real quick. I'm gonna rush through it. We're almost done, y'all. 10 signs that you are, you may be entitled. Let's see here. Where are my notes? Here it is, y'all. 10 signs that a woman may be entitled. Number 1, you expect special treatment without offering special value. In the workplace, you show up late, turn in mediocre work, and still expect a raise or recognition. In dating, you want consistent effort from a man, but never return the same energy. In church, you want a seat on leadership, but don't serve, tithe, or show up consistently. Yeah.
My Lord.
Number 2, you believe others should read your mind. In friendships, you get mad your friend didn't call on you when you had a hard day, but you never said anything about the hard day. In dating, you're irritated he didn't bring you flowers, but you never said you wanted them. In family, you expect everyone to just know what you need and get silent when they don't. Clarity kills offense, you all. You cannot hold people hostage for unspoken expectations. Number 3, you confuse high standards with unrealistic demands. In dating, you won't date a man unless he makes 6 figures, is 6'3", owns a home, prays 5 hours a day, and you still live with your mama. All right. In friendships, you cut off people for one mistake, but expect endless grace when you mess up. In church, you want a perfect pastor, but haven't prayed for that man one time. And number four, signs you may be entitled. You often play the victim, even in your own mess. In relationships, you cheated emotionally, but say he pushed me away. In work, you miss deadlines, but blame it on being undervalued. In friendships, you keep losing friends and say people are just jealous of you. Self-deception is spiritual warfare in disguise. Name name your part or you can't heal. Number 5, you withhold love, support, or kindness until you feel like it. In marriage or dating, you use silence or distance to teach them a lesson instead of communicating. In friendships, you only show up when you're in the mood, but expect 24/7 availability from others. In leadership, you're cold and sarcastic when you're tired, but you expect people to still respect you. Absolutely not. Number 6, here's some signs that, come on, don't log off. Stay with your boy. Number 6, you always compare yourself to others and feel cheated. Social media, you see a woman getting engaged and immediately feel overlooked by God. In career, someone launches a business and you say, must be nice, instead of celebrating. In church, you see someone promoted and start listing why you deserve it more. That's entitlement. Let me say that again because y'all didn't hear it. Entitlement, it expresses itself through social media by you seeing someone get engaged and you immediately feel overlooked by God. In career, someone launches a business and you say, must be nice, instead of celebrating what people have done. In church, you see someone being promoted and you start listing reasons why you deserve it more than them. Entitlement. Number 7, you think apologies make you look weak. In friendships, you gaslight people when you're wrong and say you're just sensitive. In dating, you stonewall during conflict instead of saying you're right, I hurt you. In ministry, you leave groups or churches before admitting you cause division.
Jesus.
That's entitlement. Number 8, you feel like your time, emotions, and energy matters more than others. It shows up in family by you ignore texts or cancel plans last minute, but expect grace when you need someone. In work, you clock in late regularly, but get defensive when others point it out. That's entitlement. In friendships, you drain others emotionally, but never ask how they are doing. Number 9, you crave leadership positions, but hate being corrected. In church, you want the mic, but you can't handle being told to be on time. In work, you say they're micromanaging me when your manager asks for accountability. In friendships, if a friend checks you in love, you say you're judging me. So anybody saying don't judge, that's entitlement. All right. Number 10, you expect kingdom rewards without doing kingdom work. Prayer life, you're asking for open doors but haven't opened your Bible in weeks. Ministry, you want platforms but you're still petty, jealous, and unhealed. And finances, you want God to bless your business, but you don't tithe, budget, or plan. Faith works. Hear this. Faith without works is dead. You can't fast your way out of laziness. Welcome to Bandwidth, y'all.